What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about this PlayStation 5 price leak that's been going on. We've discussed a few of these before. There's been some leaks here and there. I know PlayAsia had a leak that was $700. Yeah, that's not happening. That's way too expensive. There's been other leaks from Target that have been as low as $399, which is more on the line with what I'm thinking that one of the systems could be. But the newest leak might be the most reliable one so far, because this leak was actually pulled. It was Amazon France. They put up a leak for the PlayStation 5 price, and there was two different variants of the price based on the model. So they had one of the systems based at 499 euros for the standard PS5, and then 399 euros for the digital edition. Now this converts out to about $565 or 447 British pounds for the standard, and then $452 or 358 British pounds for the digital version of theirs. So I want to talk about this because I think that one, conversions aren't always a one-to-one thing. That's not how it works. But two, I think it kind of goes with the pricing structure that I've been talking about here. Now, that listing that I just discussed from Amazon France, that was pulled from the website. So they put it up there, then it was pulled. Now, the PlayAsia listing that was $700, once again, don't think that's like a real thing too much. I talked about it on a live stream, but I don't think that's going to happen there. And I think the Target listing with the $399, that could have once again been a placeholder, but I think they're going to go with a two-tiered SKU models here, guys. They're going to go with a $399 and they're going to go with a $499. And I'm talking about United States dollars. Now, the conversions for other places might be different, but I'm saying here in the US, I think it's going to be $399 for the digital edition and $499 for the physical edition. Now, the only thing that could mess this up is if Sony really wants to get aggressive with how they want to make money on this system based on what consumers' needs or whatever the case is. Sony probably wants you to buy the all-digital version of the PlayStation 5 because they get more money that way. Because when you go to a retailer and buy a game, that's very different than going to the PSN store and buying a game. They get bigger cuts of the digital revenue, so does the publisher. So all publishers and even the manufacturer, they want you to go to the PSN store and buy most of the games. However, it's a double-edged sword because they know that there's going to be people that don't always have good, consistent online connections or can't download that much or have data caps, and they need to be able to buy the game physical. So they need to get those extra sales too. So the store, like, they need the retail. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like, hey, we're gonna keep you at arm's length. We don't really want you, but we kind of need you, but we don't really want you. I mean, I think that's how Sony and Microsoft, and even I think at some point Nintendo's going to want to get with some of these games because the digital revenue is just so much more than them having to ship it and pack it and do all of that. And you can do some stuff with digital, right, in terms of taking some of the ownership away from consumers out there. And developers, I wouldn't say want to do that, but they want to have the ability to do that if there's something that they see goes wrong, right? So I personally feel that Sony's going to really aim to try to make the digital version somehow more attractive, some way, some shape or form. Obviously, a lower price, that would definitely be attractive, but they might even do a little bit more. Now, some have suspected that Sony is going to actually do something like put more space in the digital version of the PlayStation 5 over the physical version of the PlayStation 5, but that doesn't make sense to me. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because all games take up space anyway. Now, if there was some type of tech that allows for, let's just say, like half of the game on the PlayStation 5 from the Blu-ray to be installed when you have it physical over all of it, then okay, it makes a little bit of sense since you're saving space with the physical version of the games. But that's no longer a thing like it was for pretty much every single system before the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. We always had real physical games for consoles, at least, that don't use up system space, or they have very small installs, or they have optional installs like the Xbox 360, for example. Or some games had like mandatory. I know like Grand Theft Auto might have had a mandatory, but most of the games it was optional, or you can just not use it at all. You can just play the game off the disc like it's supposed to be, and it doesn't actually take up your hard drive space. So I don't see them doing something like that unless Sony wants to get super aggressive with people just buying the digital version of it. But another thing that I wanted to talk about here, which could relate to price, is the size of the system. Goodness gracious, based off of the 3D scaling and the model mock-ups on USB orientation and everything, this is a big boy. The PlayStation 5 is a massive console. It really seems bigger than normal, at least when it comes to consoles. Based off of what we've seen, it seems like this system is going to be a lot bigger than what anybody expected, especially compared to like an Xbox One X, which packs a ton of power and is a lot smaller based on the mock-up. So I'm a little worried that maybe this is a little bit pricier than what I think it will be based on the size of the system and kind of what they're aiming for it to do. Also, Jim Ryan, the PlayStation boss, he came out and said, hey, we're looking at more of a value thing from a price thing. So to me, that says, hey, this isn't going to be something that's going to be cheap, right? Like, we're going to go for the high end type of thing and offer in a lot of value. Maybe if you buy a PlayStation 5, you get like 12 months of PlayStation Plus for free. They're adding in like that Grand Theft Auto stuff, Grand Theft Auto Online. You know, you can play that as well. So maybe they're trying to do stuff like that in order to entice consumers. And it is just going to be like $500 minimum, and then maybe even $600 for the other model. And it's even been brought up by some people that maybe Sony does two models and they're both the same price to try to not incentivize one over the other. It's like, hey, you've got both of these, they're both the same price. But that's kind of like a kind of anti-consumer just a little bit, because adding that Blu-ray drive definitely increases the price of the system and it makes it bigger. So you're not passing that to the consumer at all whatsoever, right? Like, for example, like the Xbox SAD, that was cheaper, although it was too expensive at launch, but it ended up getting cheaper. But it should be cheaper than the standard Xbox One S or the Xbox One X, of course, because it doesn't have that Blu-ray drive. They can save money on that because they don't need the components for it. It's just all digital. So to me, I think, and I'm hoping that Sony does a two-tiered pricing model. But based off of what Jim Ryan had to say here, it does seem like they're aiming for more of the high end and the futuristic look of the system as well. So we'll see with that. Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the PlayStation 5 league prices and all that, guys. Like, one thing that I would just say is that none of this is confirmed. So don't take it in the comment section. And I've seen lots of other videos of people saying that, oh, this is confirmed and all this stuff like that, or it's probably going to be this. Like, we don't know at this point, right? Sony is obviously waiting for Microsoft, and Microsoft is obviously waiting for Sony to see who's going to blink first when it comes to this pricing war. Now, and I think that Microsoft pretty much has the upper hand in that case, because Microsoft is such a huge conglomerate and they've done a great job of trying to hide all of the Xbox losses and the whole Windows PC and stuff like that. And they have the Game Pass thing that they built up with this past generation too. So to them, they're like, hey man, we'll take losses. We're going to get people to subscribe to our Game Pass, which has what, over 10 million people in addition to all the Xbox Live users. So I think that Microsoft doesn't care. They're going to try to undercut Sony or match Sony no matter where it is. But if they come in $50 cheaper, I think that Microsoft can take that risk, whereas Sony, the business of Sony is PlayStation. PlayStation is such a huge factor into the overall business of Sony. They have to make sure that they make the system, you know, feasible, right? They can't take a huge loss on hardware. They can't even take like really more of a moderate loss on it. It has to be somewhere in the PlayStation 4 price range where it was pretty much breaking even, a little bit profitable, or right underneath when it comes to what they're selling each system for. Sony might not get all of the third-party revenue sales like they got with the PS4, because you have to remember the Xbox One and also the Wii U stumbled out of the gate, man. Wii U never recovered and Xbox kind of did, but by then it was already too late. PS4 was bodying it, so you can't guarantee that all of that revenue is going to go to you again like it went to them with the PS4. So many third-party games sold a lot, and publishers and developers made so much money off the PS4 PSN by itself, not including the Xbox One and PC market. So you can't guarantee that you're going to get all that revenue, because there will be stiffer competition from Nintendo and also from Microsoft this time around. I think it's going to be more like the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii era, where they were all kind of slinging a bit, right? They were all selling a lot and doing very well and getting good sales across the board when it comes to system and games. Because if they do, they're going to be in trouble when it comes to those sales reports, because I don't think they're going to have the huge, massive sales like the PS4 got as fast as it got it because of what happened with Microsoft and the DRM gate, and of course the Wii U just flopping and everything. So to me, I think Sony's going to price it accordingly, but I think that it's going to be good value for those who are into the PlayStation brand and want to play games. I think that they've got some good tech going. I think they have a good system that developers are excited to develop and put games out on, and a brand that they trust when it comes to PlayStation and third-party sales. They're getting their Spider-Man game, we're getting Horizon, we're getting Ratchet and Clank, so there are games on the way. Heck, even Demon Souls is coming back, so that's pretty cool. So what do you guys think about these leaks for these prices and kind of what's going down here? What do you guys think it's going to ultimately end up at? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you for the next one. Peace.